Welcome to the Fan Club YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe, like this video, and comment down below.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Playoff Frenzy edition here. We got a little bit of a lighter crew today. It's myself, Lawsy, and Mr. Cudmore.
Yep, our two normal hosts couldn't make it in on time today. So
they got the producers as the hosts,
yeah.
and then our fellow co-host,
They're
Lawsy.
both kind of a mystery. I mean, I don't know why either of them are here, but
that made no sense to me last
they didn't
night
give
in
me
the
an
group
answer.
chat.
We didn't get an answer.
Yeah.
We didn't get a clear answer. We're recording at 8. There's a pushback to 9 for the two.
I was a little
hosts.
thrown off by Frizz's initial thing. Cuddy's
I
like,
called
hey,
him out
like,
on it. It didn't make any sense.
We're recording at 8 a.m. because we have a lot going on today. We got a photo shoot later this afternoon. So Cuddy and I just, like, as the ones that edited it up, wanted just to give ourselves a little extra time. So we pushed up the podcast an hour earlier to 8 a.m. We normally record at 9. And then as soon as Cuddy sent the message out for the new schedule for this pod recording, Frizz is like, I'll be in at 10.
Yeah.
Is this a little
I'll be in
long?
at 10 with Dave, he said.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have no answers as to where the hosts are. So you're stuck with us today, as we got to say. But
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun show.
It'll be fun. And before we sat down here, we were kind of laughing at Lawsy as
Broke
yesterday
the playoff rule.
he had a huge beard, and then he comes and sits down on the pod and he's clean shaved.
Yeah, I broke the playoff rule. You know, you're not supposed to shave any of the facial hair till the cup's hoisted, but I did it. I needed to shave. The reason I did is because it was getting, like you said, it was getting long, and I didn't want to have that for our photo shoot today. So, but my issue is that I usually use like Phillips buzzer razor.
The one blade?
I don't know.
Phillips one blade. Best.
The one that
best
it's electrical.
Green? Is it green?
No.
Okay.
Like, are you talking about electric shaver?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's, I don't know, you might have one,
Yeah,
but a lot of people have
a
it.
one blade.
It's a green one blade.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have that one. Don't have that one. Maybe I should get that one, but I was missing the one that I usually use. So I had to go over. This was at like 11 at night. I had to go over to Cub, and I bought my own razor with $1 Shave Club.
Come on.
Yeah, with shaving cream.
Old school, hey?
And I did the whole. I've actually.
That's hilarious.
Fun fact: I haven't shaved my face like that, like the old school way, without an electric shaver, since I was probably like 18.
I say it's impressive.
Because I always cut myself.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I have to shave, but I also was really worried that I was going to come back with like really big red.
Razor burn.
Oh, yeah.
I always
I
get
was
razor
so
burn.
scared.
Yeah, I do too. I can't use those.
I hate
especially
doing
on my
that.
neck.
Oh, yeah. You could probably see.
Yeah, that's
I think
that's
it
a tough
hurts,
spot
man.
to.
It did hurt.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, because it was long too.
Yeah.
And it didn't even make sense to me. I was like, wait, how is this supposed to
Because
work?
it's so long.
And because I
Yeah.
like would go through like 10 times and
Yeah.
it
Nothing.
wasn't like, I'm like, is this even supposed to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I just kept going at it. It probably took me 30 to 40 minutes
Yeah,
to do
that's-
my whole face. And
that's crazy.
but it actually doesn't look hopefully that bad.
No, it
it
looks
doesn't.
fine.
It looks good.
Okay.
I would never have assumed that you used a
Yeah, me
straight
neither.
blade,
Yeah, that was
non-electric.
That was my activity that I did last night after hockey.
Late night. But yeah, getting back to what you initially said, for those that don't know, I believe I don't know if it's beyond just hockey, NHL, when it comes to playoff beards. I'm
I
assuming
think
other sports do it.
I think football players do it sometimes, but it's not like everybody does it like the NHL.
Yeah, it's like a religious,
Yeah.
almost a religious thing that comes along with like the playoffs. You don't shave your beard until you're either knocked out or you win the cup.
That is a good point that I've never thought about, whether like what sports teams do that, because I didn't pay attention. And you're right. Just
Yeah.
like basketball,
No,
they weren't
I
doing
don't-
that in
no.
basketball.
Heck no, I don't think any other sports does it to the extent of like hockey. Maybe a player or two like in basketball or football, but it's not the entire team following this like unwritten rule that if you shave your beard it's like almost a superstitious thing where now you're not going to win the cup
Yeah.
because you shaved your beard.
Yeah.
I've never heard or seen anybody shave during playoffs.
Mm-mm.
Like on the teams that I play. It's like it would be so weird to do that if you're
Yeah, it's just like an unnecessary thing because you have to go out of your way to shave your beard. And then obviously everyone's just going to roast you if
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you do
people
that.
people would look at you pretty funny.
And that's kind of on the similar thread of that. Another like unwritten code of conduct with NHL is for the conference finals. The team that comes out, 'cause you got the Eastern and the Western. I guess flip them, but you got the two conferences in the NHL, and the winners that come out of both of those to end up playing in the finals for the Stanley Cup. They also get a trophy for the conference finals. And another like unwritten rule is you don't touch that. Because if you touch that, same thing. It's like bad luck or superstition towards like in your chance of winning the actual Stanley Cup.
I wonder how often those trophies actually get touched because, like, once they're won, nobody's going to touch it or hoist it. And then after that, if you either win the Stanley Cup or lose the Stanley Cup, it's not like you're going to go back to that trophy and just be, like,
Yeah, I doubt
taking
doubt it ever
photos
gets
and, like,
touched.
holding it up.
Yeah.
But the touching of that trophy is a little bit less of a rule in terms of the people do touch it. Didn't that
Oh, I don't know.
happen recently?
I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I thought that there was a team that kind of like did touch it or wasn't that big of a deal.
They win the cup?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Because at least from my knowledge, I don't think, at least during the actual playoffs, maybe
Okay.
Yeah.
if they end up not winning the cup, then they hang out with it. But
You could be right because if I was just saying that because I thought that happened, and if it did, I'm sure you would have been like, oh yeah, like Colorado touched it a couple years back or whatever.
we were joking because when Edmonton beat Dallas, we were saying like, oh, McDavid's going to, because it's the captain that goes up and he's the first one to take a photo around that before the team huddles around. We were laughing like McDavid's going to skate up there because this is his first time heading the Stanley Cup Finals. He's going to head up there and grab that trophy and just like haul it around the rink and be the one guy to like break that superstition.
And you know what? Another thing that's not as much of a every player does it, but the suit thing is something that you'll see in playoffs where players will continually wear the same suit. How many games in a row did McDavid wear?
I think it was like 4 or 5. Let's see. I saw that on social media that he was wearing that gray suit.
Were you guys ever like that when you were playing? Did you ever have a go-to suit that you just knew you felt good in?
No,
I only had one.
So yeah, kind of. You wore the same one every day.
We did, but only because there was only one option.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gray suit that he was wearing.
You think he puts it back on?
Was considered his lucky suit.
Which one's he wearing now after the two
well, I think
wins?
I know after, so they lost their first 3 against Panthers, and at that time he was wearing the gray suit all 3 of those games. And then game 4, he wore a black suit to the rink. So who knows?
He's wearing a black suit now?
I don't know about now.
No, because that's the post game, right?
This is game 2.
Oh, never mind.
But yeah, I know after game 4 he was wearing a black suit. Let's see if this will end up showing it. But yeah, anyways, like that stuff like that, like there's just like a lot of superstition tied in with like players, which is like pretty funny when you hear about just like things that guys do.
Yeah, I wonder. I'd be really interested to know all the other ones that we don't know about that are happening, like inside the room. Certain handshakes. I remember doing that more when I was playing, was when you're going out onto the ice like before warm-ups and there's one player or whatever, multiple players, and you do the same handshake with them. You have like your special thing, and then if you'd win, you'd keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd switch it up if you'd lose and you'd go to another guy.
It seems like there's always that one guy on the team. Like every team that I've played on, there's one guy that's like goes crazy for these handshakes. Like he's got one with like every single guy.
Yeah. There's always that one guy in the
team.
One of them takes 30 seconds to do.
Yeah, seriously. And then they have that one best friend on the team that they do like a whole 30-second.
Yeah, they jump in the air.
Nice.
Slap each other's butts.
Chest bump.
Well, the last pod that we had, we left off on game 2. So since then, or maybe it was game 3. I think we left off with game 3. So for just sake of where we're picking back up here, we got to recap game 4. And then obviously game 5, which was last night, Tuesday. So let's start with game 4. That kind of set the stage for us, Lawsy, where that series was at that point. And
yeah,
what
game
happened.
4. Game 4 was in, or wait, you said game 4, right?
Game 4, yeah.
Game 4 in Edmonton.
Yep, so that one was in Edmonton.
I'm just trying to re-rack my memory on that one. I mean, obviously, the first Oilers W, which was huge, kept the team alive. So
Yeah, it was kind of a blowout, eh?
Huge
oh
blowout.
my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah,
like-
okay, now that you say that, yeah, now I remember.
Yeah,
8
it was, it was like
8-1.
freaking 8-1 or
It
something.
was
I couldn't even watch the third period.
Yeah, there's a few things that came about from that game. First one for me, just like thinking on game 4, Panthers are up 3-0 in the series. They need one more game out of the best of 7 series to get that 4th win, and they're Stanley Cup champs. So they're riding high going into game 4. You know, like they have all the momentum. In Edmonton, their back's basically against the wall. One game that they lose, they're done. So it's like they threw it all on the table that game, you can tell.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing is when you have your back against the wall, you'll play a totally different way. There's nothing to lose at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You have one option, and it's to win. And I feel like Edmonton had been playing, like, competing with them pretty well for the most part. They just couldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
And now finally, I maybe feel like even Florida in the back of their heads is like, we kind of got this. Like 3-0 in the Stanley Cup
Took the foot off
Finals.
the
How are
gas.
we, like, we're winning. Like even that slightest bit of thought can like mess you up big time. And especially when you're in the finals, that can be such a difference of, oh, you can win 3 games in a row, but yeah, you can also lose 8-1 just like that.
Yeah.
And now they're going to have a hard time like winning. Honestly, it's now they're in a spot where it's going to be pretty tough for them, but that game itself was a big game changer. I know, like, just watching everybody in Edmonton, like, people were so excited and having so much fun at that game. That looked really cool. I feel like this whole going to Edmonton for those games is just a party
Oh, yeah.
out there.
And they're heading back there for Game 6 because they beat them again in Game 5
Yeah.
at home in Florida.
Yeah, going back to game 4 there, Lawsy said that in the first 3 games they were just hanging with the Panthers. The only thing they weren't really able to do was score. And they ended up, because Bob, whatever, I might have mispronounced his last name.
No, you got it.
The Florida goalie, like, that guy's been standing on his head the whole playoffs, completely whole playoffs, and then game 4, he gets yanked.
Yep.
They drove him out of the net, so I don't know, like, you have, like Lawsy said, like, in the back of your mind, the Panthers, they probably have that mindset, like, we got this in the bag, let the foot off the gas, and now they're kind of reeling a bit.
Do you think that they pulled Bobby because of, I mean, he was getting lit up, but mostly we might as well just rest him at this point?
I
Yeah,
think
for
exactly
sure.
why, yeah. They're probably like, there's no sense in him playing this game out. The likelihood of Panthers coming back is like so slight that it's like, might as well just rest him.
Rest them up for the next game.
And I saw some people talking about how that can be, you know, whether Murray should have done that or not, whether or not that like gets in his head.
Yeah.
Hopefully it was just more of like, hey, I'm sure they would have talked and told him that.
Oh, yeah.
This is just a rest
Yeah.
play. But yeah, people were saying of like, you know, don't take him, like, you're taking him out, throw him off his mojo, like not a good maybe thing to do when you're in the finals.
Uh-huh.
But who knows? Like, how do you think he even did last night?
Well, I think he did pretty well. I think the Panthers outshot Edmonton and they still lost. So obviously the Edmonton goalie played better. Yeah, I don't know. I like Panthers lost, so he couldn't have done great, you
Yeah.
know? Like, at the end of the day, like, they didn't win, so. Yeah, it's we were talking about this in the office, like, kind of making a joke about it, that the Panthers, like, not purposely lost, but I'm sure they, not sure, but we were joking that the Panthers lost in Edmonton just to come back home and win the Stanley Cup on their home ice, which was the game 5 that Cuddy was talking about, and they ended up losing that one too. So I don't know, you want to talk a little bit about game 5?
Yeah. We just got back and watched the third period, but I mean, it was a good last 9 minutes that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Florida pulled their goalie pretty early with like 2 minutes left, and yeah, just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, so we were playing hockey last night during the first like 2 periods of that game, and Frizz came over to our bench, and I think this was right after either the first or a little bit into the second period, and he was like, the Oilers are up 3-0, and I was sitting there, I was like, dang, like, it's game 5, Panthers are up 3-1. I thought for sure they're winning it at home, and Frizz comes over and he's like, yeah, the Oilers are up 3-0. I was like, holy cow, this is not good. Finish up beer league, we're in the locker room getting undressed. At this point, it was after the second period, in between the second and third, and the score was 4-2. So we all like raced home to catch the third period, like Cuddy was saying. And literally right when I walked in the door, the Panthers like scored that third goal, so it was 4-3. And at that point, it was like 12 minutes left in the third period. They're only down by 1. I was like, it's just like one of those things where it's like they're gonna come back and win this. Like you just kind of felt it. That happens
so much.
Yeah.
Those comebacks where, the team that should win losing, but like they'll come back. Like that happens so many times in the playoffs. Even.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was gonna be the case of like, kind of like, oh, it was gonna be so good. Like Edmonton was gonna win and steal it from them, and then switch right at the end. Florida's gets a little nervous, comes back, wins it, but yeah, that didn't happen.
Did not happen. Like Cuddy was saying, the last 9 minutes was actually crazy. They had a good handful of like really good chances.
Oh yeah.
On top of just like they were pressuring Edmonton so hard, and then they had like a few like really good chances to score. Just couldn't do it. Pulled the goalie, and McDavid ended up freaking burying the empty net, which is him scoring an empty net goal. I believe, I was looking at this earlier, gave him like a playoff record. Only person to have back-to-back 4-point games. Like, I mean, this is a really like specific stat, but like it was like the only player to have like back-to-back 4-point games in an elimination game.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
So like tough to compete with that stat. Like in terms of,
it's a very specific stat.
Yeah, very specific.
Like an elimination.
But that empty netter was pretty funny though, of how Kachuk dove, saved the puck.
I can't believe he saved
on the
that.
line.
That was crazy, yeah.
And then right to McDavid. I think Ekman. Is it Ekman Larson?
Yeah.
I think he thought that went in, because I was watching the replay and he was beside McDavid and he kind of let up.
Yeah, he gave up.
And then McDavid took he did a tight turn, took the puck, and buried it. But then, dude, like the D-man like stopped trying.
Oh, I think he thought it was in. Like he like a legit thought he.
Well, there couldn't have been that much. Was there?
There was like 20-some seconds.
Oh, really?
Like it could have been, like enough where
he could have thrown it down the ice.
Oh yeah. Well, you remember that? There's that. It always is recycled. I feel like this video.
Oh, that old
from
Stars
like the 90s.
video?
Yeah, the guy had an empty net goal and like
he tripped, missed it, and they picked it up, went down, and scored.
Like they had enough time to do that easily.
Okay,
it would have been the chances would have been like 1% they would have scored, but
man,
they would probably got a shot on net or something would have happened.
Yeah. But yeah, it's yeah.
There's nothing worse than
sad.
Like Tkachuk going all out to save that puck too, and then it just goes right to the best player in the world.
And he tried to block it.
And then he just ripped it in the net. Hey,
it's harder
just
to do.
Just a statement.
Those goals are harder to score than it looks when it's an empty net, but a D.
Oh yeah, there's people
goalie.
in front.
Yeah,
you think you're gonna score because you're not shooting against any like goalie gear, but
he shot that with authority.
Yeah, he did.
You got to rip that thing because and you got to be pretty accurate with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, like McDavid yesterday, this is why I wanted Edmonton to be in the finals and why I want them to win so badly, because it's so cool of what kind of story he's writing here of down 3-0, he comes back, obviously a massive game in Game 4, Game 5, everyone's on the McDavid bandwagon talking about how he's just the best player in the world. He is like putting his willpower into winning these games. He says after Game 4 too that what do you say about we're gonna go to Florida and drag them back to Alberta?
Yeah,
like,
well, he
put him on his back and drag these guys back to Alberta, and that's exactly what he did.
For sure. I was just seeing all these headlines that like, do you guys think McDavid is putting his team on his back right now? I mean, that's pretty like
I would
back to
say
back
so.
4-point games. Like,
Yeah, I
8
think. Well, that's the
points last year.
difference. That's for sure the whole difference of them winning those games. Like you can't win if he doesn't have 4 points. Even three last night might have not. Well, he got the empty net. I guess that can be the fourth, but it's so close that he needs to, like, that highlight reel goal or assist that he had when he goes through the whole team. Like, if that doesn't happen once throughout the game, like, that play makes such a difference on them getting 1-2 past Bobrovsky so they can at least like have a lead at some point or can like stay in the game.
Yeah.
And those are, you just have to score crazy goals. It's crazy how you have to score that crazy of a goal to win the game, and the only person that could do it would be McDavid.
You kind of said it. I saw a social media post where McDavid was walking out of the locker room heading towards like assuming the bus to them leaving the rink. And not sure who the guy was. He was some part of the Edmonton like coaching staff or something to do with Edmonton. Said something to McDavid like it was something along the lines of, "You excited for your flight?"
Yeah.
And then he said something like, maybe it was reversed or something, where McDavid's like, "I hope they're excited for their flight. I hope you guys are excited for the flight." And
yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, kind of funny.
Yeah, joking how everyone's getting back on a plane now, which I do think is so funny how all these people on social media, like Spin Chicklets, Empty Netters, they're just, I'm sure they're pumped about it, but it's just so funny knowing that they get to keep their like party alive in a way. It's kind of like,
and it's the longest travel. We mentioned that a few weeks ago.
I can only imagine how tired they are. And it's so, and I just love watching how they have to now go back and
back to Alberta.
Crazy.
And I feel like that's what they're probably just excited for at this point. Like if we were there and we knew that we were going to every game, it would be so like,
it would be exciting.
This specific playoffs too would be just so fun to be a part of because everyone's like in this together. Yeah. Even you see the stories and everyone's at the Elbow Room bar in Fort Lauderdale, so they're all kind of just bonding, and then they're just gonna head back to Alberta, and they're probably gonna have a crazy time there. Like Biz had that crop top,
I saw that
Oilers thing,
crazy crop top.
Those guys were getting him and Ryan Whitney were getting the crowd fired up.
Yeah,
there's some funny clips.
Yeah,
and I think it's great. I'm just really excited now to see this Edmonton game and how that all goes.
I got some crazy stats for you guys.
Let's hear it.
You want to hear them?
Yeah.
So this is relating back to a series. So before Game 4, Edmonton was down 0-3 in the series. They hadn't won a game, so that obviously means that they lost 3 games in a row. And this is a stat from this year. Edmonton, let's see here. After their first 3-game losing streak, so this is across the whole season. After a 3-game losing streak, Edmonton has followed up with winning 8 straight. Sorry, let me just add some context to make a little more sense. So this is relating to the whole entire season after Edmonton has lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So obviously they lost 3 in a row in the playoff series. In the previous times this season where that's happened, where Edmonton has lost 3 games in a row, they followed it up with winning 8 straight. And then that second time where they lost 3 in a row, they followed it up with winning 16 straight games.
Holy.
So, with that said, they have lost 3 in a row in this playoffs. And if history repeats itself like it's happened the first 2 times, who knows how many games they can win in a row.
Well, you said 6-18?
Yeah, so the first time this season where they lost 3 in a row, they won 8 straight following a 3-game loss, 3-game losing streak.
They'll probably win then like 50-some games in a row.
Yeah, this is
they go
trickle
from
in
6
next
to
season.
18 to
Yeah, it's doubling.
40 to no, it's more than doubling. It's tripling.
And just
8 to 16.
6 to 18. 6.
They won 8.
Oh, 8 to 16. Yeah, okay, 32.
Yeah.
They'll be winning 32 games in a row.
Then another stat here. Edmonton has not lost game 6 or 7 so far in the playoffs. I'm not sure if every series that they've been in has gone to game 7, but the ones that have, they have not lost any of those games.
Dang. So you're saying the Panthers
But-
might be in a little trouble?
I mean, I guess like that stat might be a little like wonky just because like
It's
you would
kind
have
of
to
an
win
odd,
those.
odd stat.
You'd have to win those.
surfacing up.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Because if
Oh,
they
I'm
didn't
sure-
win game 6 or 7, they wouldn't be where they
Exactly.
are.
I'm sure now Panthers are, if I'm on the team, I'm in the back. Like, it's getting to me a little bit that I'm
The
like,
pressure's getting on.
Yep, for sure.
first of all, yeah, pressure's getting on, but even the embarrassment of having it in your hands and not getting it done
Mhm.
in the past 2 games now is even, it's just gradually getting a little bit more of like, you're gripping your stick tighter.
Yeah.
You're
Oh, yeah.
like, if you get down the first goal, you're like, like, come on, like we gotta get it.
Yeah,
You gotta get up right away.
Yeah.
You have to do something to like break the momentum
Yeah.
barrier,
You
and
gotta
that's
get the
tough to
first
do.
goal.
It's never happened before where teams came back from a 3-0 series and ended up winning, correct? I think we
Correct.
said this last
Yeah.
episode.
Well,
Never has
could be.
happened before.
Reverse sweep.
Reverse
are you
sweep.
saying just in the finals or in,
Yeah, just in
I
the
think
finals.
just in the finals. It's
Okay.
never happened before.
probably
It's happened
not.
in the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It probably has never happened. There's so
Um,
much. There's so much fun facts that are going to be
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
done after
A lot,
this.
of, lot of analytics, a lot of fun facts.
It's amazing. It's yeah. And I was just gonna talk about too the guy. You can tell going back to just Florida gripping their sticks a bit tighter. Ownership suite seemed like they were a bit upset. Did you guys see the water bottle toss by
No way.
one of their?
Luongo? Don't
No,
tell
it
me it's
wasn't. It
Luongo.
wasn't. No, it wasn't Luongo. It was one of their. It could be the owner of the team. I can't remember his name. There was a video though when McDavid scored the empty net. He was pissed and he
He
grabbed
probably
the,
wanted it all,
Really?
the one at
grabbed the
home.
water bottle, chucked it in there. Like
Wow.
He was probably upset, yeah.
It's a big deal for ownership
Not
winning
letting
the
it,
cup.
letting it slip away at home.
yeah.
I was telling Cuddy I was watching like the post game like interviews and stuff, and I watched a little bit of them before turning it off. And what I saw, especially this morning, just like rewatching on social media, they were asking the Panthers all like those hard hitting questions where it's like, how do you guys feel? Like kind of basically seeing what they're gonna say like after losing 2 games in a row, and the whole team like they're confident and I forgot exactly what Kachuk said, but he had a funny thing. A reporter asked him a stupid question like, are you guys worried after losing like 2 in a row? It's like, what do you think he's going to say? Like if you're a reporter asking that question. But yeah, they interviewed Kachuk, Sam Bennett, and asked him like the same questions, like how is the energy in the room? How is everyone feeling? Are you guys like nervous? Like questions like that. And they said they're still confident, as you would assume.
You gotta be, yeah. Even if you're not, that's what you have to tell.
Yeah.
Because if Edmonton's watching, checking their Twitter, if they're seeing the other team's captain out there being a little unconfident, then they're like even more.
Oh, then they're like,
pumped
we
up.
got this. We got to pounce on them.
Yeah.
I wonder the injuries too. I'm so surprised. Even McDavid, I've seen a bunch of scrums where someone's got him, just like they're like feeding him, giving him little pops
just
to
roughing
head.
them up. But
He's got to be, like taking a
There's a
hits
couple
a
big
game.
names that you said that didn't go out for morning skate, but they
Oh, yeah,
dressed in
that's
the
right.
game.
Before last night's game 5, Kachuk, Sam Bennett, and one of the big defensemen on Panthers. I forgot his name, which one it was, but yeah, 3 of their like relatively stud players.
Montour?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't him. It was I think it was his D partner. I don't know. I forgot who his name was, but yeah, all 3 of those guys sat out, assuming for injury purposes and rehab, but they all played through it.
Yeah. Almost on.
Yeah. Dang.
Sweet.
Well, yeah, so it's 3-2, Panthers leading the series right now, heading back to Edmonton for Game 6, which is happening Friday night. And we'll see what happens because Edmonton has all the momentum. Panthers are reeling a bit. We'll see what happens.
Keeping the fan club frenzy alive.
Yep. The playoff frenzy.
Love
on
it.
for another week.
You wanna wrap it up and shut her down there, Cud?
Well, thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode of the Fan Club. We'll see you next time.